All right, guys, I've got an extra for you this week. I had a comment from a nice guy named Michael Combs. He had a request and thought I would go ahead. I think he just requested this last night and had a little free time on my hands, so I thought I'd go ahead and shoot a video and push out an extra video this week. So thanks, Michael, for the suggestion. But he commented on my video. I posted a video about 10 months ago that was titled 5 Ways to Detect Clipping and or Distortion. I thought it was a really cool video. It's only got 1,900 views. I thought it would go over better than that. But I had 5 different ways to detect clipping or distortion hooked up to this amp all at the same time, and was rolling the gain up and showing all 5 of those things, showing clipping at the same exact time. Pretty cool video. Go check it out. Again, it's called 5 Ways to Detect Clipping and or Distortion. But this was Michael's question. He picked up one of these little handheld O-scopes. These things are only around $40, and several people have these. His question was, can you show exactly how to use this? Look, guys, O-scopes are confusing. Whether you're talking about these little small ones or the big ones. I've got one of the full-size O-scopes. Both of them have more things on them than I really know how to do. They're pretty complicated. So when he asked that question, I kind of understood, trust me, and some of y'all might as well. But he bought one of these. He's wanting to tune a couple of amps for setting the gains, and he's having trouble getting this thing dialed in to where he can see the clipping and the waveform looks correct. If y'all have ever fooled with one of these, you probably know what a struggle that can be. So let me go ahead. I'll tell you what, I'm rolling. This amp is turned on right now. You can't see that, the light's around on the other side, but I'm playing a 40 hertz tone right now. I do have the 2 leads coming out of this going straight to the positive and negative speaker outputs of the amp. I don't have a load on the amp. You can actually set the gain with an O-scope, DD1, all of that, with speakers, resistors, whatever, hooked up as well. And there's reasons to or not to do that. It does alter your gain setting just slightly, I've noticed, whether you have a load on there or not. But for the sake of this and keeping it simple, no load, just the O-scope hooked up. So keep in mind, I'm already playing a tone through it right now, but let's turn this little guy on. So we turned it on the bottom. It's just an on and off down there. I got the little 9-volt adapter thing to go with this. So you can see right now, look at that. I mean, that's confusing, right? There's 2 main things to know about getting these things to show you a proper waveform, whether you're talking about this little handheld or the big full size, and that is the volts and the seconds. So let's see if I can get this a little bit closer. Right here is the volts. You can see right now it says 5 volts. And then, AC, yes. Make sure that this on the top is switched to AC, because the signal coming out of an amplifier or out of a head unit is AC. I know you might would think it's DC because it runs off of a DC battery, but they produce AC voltage. So make sure that's on AC. But the 2 main things to look for is the volts on the far left. It's got a square around it right now, or a rectangle rather. And then the green over here, the seconds. Right now it says 0.1 seconds. So right now we're playing a 40 hertz test tone. So let's adjust the volts. So you'll want to just start messing with these. What we're gonna really need to do, so we go all the way to 20 volts. Yep, so first we're gonna need to go to seconds. So let's click the second button, the SEC division, seconds division. You see the square now is over here around the seconds. So what the seconds does is it speeds up and slows down. You want to get it. We'll come back to this in a second. So when you're fooling with an O-scope, you're going to go back and forth to these two settings a couple of times. So let's go back over to volts and let's adjust. We're going to need to go up. All right, I've got it maxed at 20 right now. Let's go back to seconds again. Goodness gracious, guys, I'll tell you these things. There we go. Goodness gracious. See, look, I get confused each time I fool with one too. So right there at about 10 milliseconds, 20 is, it's got your waveform on there a little too close together for me, but that's what it does. There's 20 milliseconds, 10, 5, spreading it out. That looks probably about like what you'd want. And then 2 milliseconds isn't bad either. Then you get beyond that, and then it wants to go wonky to you for you again, because now that waveform is really big. But that's what it is. It's the how wide your waveform is. So let's go back to that 5. That's about what, but it really doesn't matter. The clipping shows up on all of them just the same. So let's leave it on 5. And so keep in mind, the 20 is making the waveform taller or shorter. And that's what it is. So let me roll the gain up. It's really a RCA bass knob is the way that I'm going to roll this up. But let's go on up. Right there, you see where it starts to clip. That's still a good signal right there. Here's what else I think is cool about this. Right here is volts RMS. I don't know if you can see that. 60.84 volts RMS. That's kind of cool that it's showing you the voltage that you're getting out of your amplifier. That's quite a bit. You can get a, you can put a fairly stout amp on this, not something stupid. You don't want to put a 10K or something really big on it. It would eventually, I think, about 60 volts. I think I've had it go up to maybe 65 volts, but it does eventually max out. But if you're talking about an amp that does, 1,500 watts or less or something like that, maybe even a 2K. But anyhow, you'll be fine with this. But if you start doing, I'm going to say actually a 3K and up is probably too much power for this. I think that Michael is dealing with less power than that, quite a bit less probably. So anyhow, so that's it. Let me switch over to 1 kilohertz just for the heck of it, because I think he's going to want to do a mids and highs amp and maybe a bass amp as well. So see, I switched over to 1K and everything is wonky again. So let's switch over to let's click this second button and go back over here to the milliseconds and get that wave looking the way we want it to look. Okay, so maybe about right there. Click back over to volts. Okay. So that's as good as we can do, but I think we'll be able to see our clipping right there at the, yep. See that waveform gets a little bit funky. But that's it. You can also click these buttons, like see how this got the square or rectangle around it right now? If you click it again, it goes off. I don't know, that's still letting me adjust a little bit, but I will tell you this, you'll want to have those on for it to act normal, the way you would want it to act. So same thing over here. If you think you're on one of them and it's not adjusting like I'm doing, just make sure that the rectangle is around. But that's the main thing, is the voltage and the seconds. Make sure that it's on AC, and that's it. But you may need to go back and forth a couple of times till you get those waveforms to look correct. I don't ever fool with trigger, and I don't ever fool with OK. It's really just these first 2 buttons right here. So anyhow, guys, that is it for this one. Make sure that you check out the channel. This is going to be an extra for this week. I drop a video every Sunday morning at 7 o'clock Central, and that will be no different for this weekend. But thanks for watching. Thanks to Michael Combs. Michael, I hope this helps you out. And as always, guys, thank y'all so much.